Oh, we'll get into that Broncos running up the score situation. Future Hall of Famer, smartest man in football, Luke Kuechly. When you saw that play happen, what were you thinking?
I think you listen to Jim Nantz and you can't help but be excited about it. And I think it's got to be so cool for Washington to be a part of a game where something like that happens. But it's just those playing defense, and when you get Hail Mary passes like that, the only thing that can happen poorly is on your shoulders. And for that to happen, it's just a great end of the game for Washington. It's kind of epitomizes who they are, the never say die team. But you just got to knock it down. And when you talk about end of game situations and Hail Marys, you're taught there's guys that are box out defenders that guard people, and then there's people that are jumpers. And in this situation right here, it looks like everybody on Chicago is going for the ball. But I think really what it comes down to is the play before, where they played so far off and gave him that little 12-yard out route, which made this play possible. I think is more of the head-scratching play at the end of the game.
Have you ever been part of a Hail Mary that was completed?
I was not, but we had one against Houston in 2019, and I'll tell you what, Eric Reed made a great play on the ball in the end zone. Deshaun threw one up. Eric Reed jumped over everybody, could have caught the ball, but just knocked it down. Everybody boxed out. Eric Reed came out of nowhere, jumped over everybody, and literally threw the ball on the ground. He could have caught it, but he threw the ball on the ground. Just a great play. But those situations are so hard. Everybody's going after the ball, and there's so much pressure on the defense because, we should be able to knock this down. But once that ball gets popped up in the air, it seems like it's in the air forever.
I remember I was talking to Hamilton before the show. There was one that Cam tried against the Saints, and Sean was like, absolutely not, and sent the house at him, and it didn't work out. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think that was in the playoffs of 2017. I think it kicked us out of the playoffs there. But like you said, I'm a huge proponent of sending 5 guys, 6 guys at the quarterback and make that ball come out.
Totally.
I mean, they rushed 3 guys, 3 defensive linemen. They had a backer as a spy. He runs to his right, then comes back to his left, and there's nobody in front of him challenging him when that ball gets thrown.
Why are we sitting back? And then to add question marks to injury or whatever you want to say, like Tyreek Stevens. And he apologized, by the way. So here's if anybody.
That's not a good look.
Talk to me, Luke. Talk to him. Talk to everyone.
When the ball gets snapped, they're playing with 9 guys because the linebacker's off the ball as a spy player. Tyreek Stevenson's talking to the crowd, and then as the play goes on, he gets involved and tips it up to Noah Brown for the touchdown. So I know he tweeted something out, but him walking into that locker room and he sees that tape of him talking to the fans. He's got to feel tiny, and then again he's going to go in the day and he's going to watch that tape and have to deal with it all over again. So I'm sure he's not proud of it. I'm sure those fans were chirping at him, but you got to finish till the end of the game, and I'm sure he learned a valuable lesson.
DJ Moore said that the captains are going to address it. So if this is you and you're the captain in there, how are you addressing it?
I think for DJ to say that, I love DJ saying that. Just shows the growth of him. He's one of the best guys that ever played with as far as a teammate, but I think Tyreek Stevenson understands the situation. He understands what he did wrong. And I think it's just good for these older guys to go in there and say, hey, we understand what you did is wrong. You got to be team first guy. We appreciate you taking responsibility for it. But moving forward, we got to see that stuff like this doesn't happen again. It's going to start with his approach on Monday, Tuesday, and then the first day at practice on Wednesday. That's really when you'll see what kind of rebound Tyreek Stevenson has. But they'll go talk about it. Obviously, he knows what he did is wrong. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just awareness by him to say, what I did was incorrect. I'm going to take full responsibility for it. And moving forward, I have to show you guys that I'm better for it. That you can't just sit there and talk and say, hey, my fault, my bad, I can't do that. You got to show these older guys that, yeah, it was your bad. What are you going to do moving forward to improve?
Is there anything holding you back from just going all in with the Commanders?
No, I like them. I like the energy there. I got a bunch of buddies up
when
there.
You said that, I love that.
Well, I like Dan Quinn. I've always liked his energy. Yeah. I think guys play really hard for him. At the end of that game, they showed Dan Quinn and Frankie Louvu, two guys that Frankie was here for a while. I love him. They got Bobby Wagner. I think Terry McLaurin, all you've ever heard about Terry is works extremely hard, super talented, never complains, great leader. And then now for him and this team to have success, there's just so many positive stories on this team about good dudes and guys that have played hard and guys that have been through the ringer.
Sure, so you champion them, but Luke, when you say you like them, what does that take me somewhere? Where's that? Put your money where your mouth is there. Are we talking division winning?
I think right now they're rolling. Obviously Philly had a big win, but I think right now they're rolling in the favorite in that division.
I love to hear you say that. I mean, I would love to see that. They're minus 290 to make the playoffs. They're heavy favorites right now, which I love. They got to go to New York and take care of the Giants. They're plus 140, by the way, if you're hanging out on FanDuel doing some sports equinox betting. Plus 140 to win the division. Philly is favored over them.
Well, Philly's got that run game that Sirianni didn't want to talk about yesterday. Yeah. But, I mean, the thing that I think gives Philly the edge right now is they've been there. They've been to the playoffs. They've been to the Super Bowl. They know what it's like to get there. There is a certain hurdle involved with the first-time team making a playoff run. We were a part of it in Carolina early in my career. You got to learn what it's like to win those difficult games, but nothing says they can't go out and do that.
Yeah, especially when you have a beautiful Hail Mary, the play of the year by an MVP candidate rookie named Jaden Daniels on the Eagles side. They've been there, done that, and hopefully they can get it done. I want to talk to you about the Ravens because I want to go all in on the Ravens. I've gotten you on board. Most dangerous team, scary team. I've gotten Gronk to say it. Like, I don't know what to do with this defense, and I need you to fix it for me because Jameis just comes in. He's quoting MNF. He's an absolute, Jameis is going to Jameis. Huge upset. And this first year, you're talking about not knowing how to handle these things. Is that what's going on with Zach Orr? They're 26th in scoring, dead last in pass defense. Scheme issue, losing Patrick McQueen, Jadeveon Clowney and Geno Stone are hurt more than we thought. What's going on?
I think it's a combo, a little bit of everything. We obviously picked up Jadeveon. He had a couple big plays on third down yesterday, but new coordinator Mike Macdonald obviously leaves, and their best players need to step up. Obviously, they've had the injuries. Nate Wiggins and Marlon Humphreys both out. The guys they were relying on to make plays. Marcus Williams didn't play yesterday. I don't quite know why. He hasn't had the year I think they've expected him to, but at the end of the game yesterday, everybody's seen it. Kyle Hamilton, you got to make that play. You got to make that play. They score 22 points. You win 24-22. That last play doesn't happen. So I think at the end of the day, when there's a new play caller, regardless if it's on the offensive side or the defensive side, it takes a little bit of time. I'm not giving them an excuse, but at this point in the season, moving forward from here, there needs to be improvement. You can't hide behind the fact that, hey, it's a new style, it's a new guy in our ear, it's a new meeting setup. But they got to be able to make the plays right there. You got to be able to turn around and adjust to the football and make the play. And then the last play of the game with Kyle Hamilton, the play before the last game, you got to make that interception. Your best players have to make plays on the ball. That's really, to me, what it comes down to. Their pass rush is good. Kyle Van Noy's had a great season so far. They just have to tighten up, and their best players, Marcus Williams, has to make plays. Kyle Hamilton got to pick that ball off, and then they got to get healthy with Marlon Humphreys. He's a big part of what they do. They got to come back. Yeah. So I'm not ready to freak out on them. I think these next 3 to 4 weeks are going to be a big sign of what this defense is moving forward.
They also could, run the ball and help him out a little bit. They gave the ball to Derrick Henry.
I mean, how many times did he run the ball yesterday?
11.
Yeah.
11, okay? He was averaging 6.6 yards per touch. 73 yards he put up, which was great, but I don't know. I would think if you ran the ball a little more, you probably would have won this game. Should they be buyers? Or you're saying they got to, they have Kyle Hamilton's one of the best players. You've given him tons of love on this show and everywhere. Do they need to be adders before the trade deadline, November 5th?
I don't think they do. I'm in good shape on them. I think sometimes in the NFL you just have a tough game, and that's what they had yesterday.
Tua Tagovailoa, speaking of tough games, we love him, we champion him, we support him. First time out there since week 2. They lost to the Cardinals, and now Tua this is the quote that's everywhere. His mindset is, quote, not trying to be a hero, end quote. I heard that and thought easier said than done, right?
Absolutely. I think what he's kind of talking about is yesterday he broke out of the pocket, he scrambled to his left, and then he slid. And he didn't try to run through anybody. He didn't try to get an extra 2 or 3 yards. He just slid down, and the crowd went absolutely crazy. And, for him on the offensive side of the ball, I think they're really effective running the ball. Obviously, Mike McDaniel, right here, that slide. Mike McDaniels is a stud, and he's got a great scheme. But then you have the running backs. You got Jalen Waddle. You got Tyreek Hill. Just get the ball out to those guys and settle back in. I don't think he needs to go out there and be, Patrick Mahomes. Just spread it out to your playmakers. They have so much speed, and be smart and protect yourself.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what I think of Miami going forward here. And who do they even have next week? They're at Buffalo next week. Buffalo looks so freaking good.
They played well yesterday, didn't they?
Oh my gosh, across the country, taking out Seattle. And Josh looked every bit of the MVP candidate that he is. Amari Cooper, a huge add. It'll be so interesting to see which teams still make moves and tweaks ahead of that trade deadline. But Miami has the talent. They're loaded. Hard balance for him to walk on, being safe, not going after it. I love to see the slide. He played, to see them lose, that was just a bummer. I want to get to another quarterback sort of situation with this Anthony Richardson. So kind of frustrating because it's a tight game. I'm always touting this game, this rivalry. He subs himself. What did you make of that?
I thought that was very unique. He's
good word.
He's in his second year. And yeah, he's big, he's athletic, he shucked the defensive lineman off, scrambled. But I saw a guy in Carolina do this all the time, and he wore number 1 and he played quarterback, and he was a lot like Anthony Richardson. And he would just get up, he'd walk back to the huddle, he'd look super tired, he'd get the play call, and then he'd go back in and play the next play. So I'm not sure here. I really wonder what Shane Steichen was thinking. Like, you need a what? You need to come out. So I was somewhat surprised that he came out of the game. You'd like for him moving forward but you got to stay in the game. You're our best opportunity to go win. And when you're on the field, you provide us a unique opportunity to both throw the ball and run the ball. We got to have you on the field.
I've never seen this before.
No. You
haven't. Nobody's seen this before. I'm trying to think, is this something we're going to have to get used to with a new generation of quarterbacks, or is it? And I'm also trying to think, you're on that team, offense, defense. What does that do to the team? Does it have some sort of negative effect?
I wonder. No, I think it all depends on what his mindset was. And I wonder if he's just like, man, I'm just tired, and he's like, man, I need a break. And he wasn't necessarily thinking about the situation in the game. And he's like, I'm tired. I've been out for a couple games. Maybe my conditioning's not where it needs to be. I need to take a blow. But yeah, it's just strange to me. You're the quarterback. You didn't get smoked. You didn't get hit hard. You didn't get rolled up on. You just got to find a way to get out there and make that next play happen.
He's got 10 NFL starts, 1 year as a starter in college. Maybe we could chalk it up to inexperience.
Just young.
Yeah. I'm disappointed. I'm just not in this thing. I just think I really thought he'd come out the gate crushing this year. I think that there's a lot of they've got Minnesota next week. And that's I'd like to see more. Okay, we want to get to hunch time here because we've got lots going on. Hamilton, get in here. You're making me go up against a future Hall of Famer and the smartest guy ever. So really fun, Hamilton, really fun.
All right, and we'll start with you, Kay,
Oh.
for this Giants-Steelers Monday night matchup. George Pickens' receiving line is at 58.5 yards. What's your hunch? You think he goes over or under that tonight?
Pickens looked good last week, I think he's feeling himself, confident. I think he's a guy who likes the bright lights and being the hero. I'm going to smash the over. He had over 100 yards last year. First, Russell Wilson, I think their chemistry will only grow. Russell gives this cat a chance to make plays, especially one-on-one. So contested 50-50 balls he loves. I think we're going to see a lot of downfield catches. I'm way over 58 and a half, Luke.
I'm gonna go the same way. Monday night football, bright lights. He knows he's got Oh, the receiver for Malik Neighbors on the other side. I think he's going to show out.
New York needs it, Hamilton.
They really do. And Luke, that's where we're going next. Malik Neighbors, he had a quiet return to action last week, just 41 receiving yards. His line for tonight is 65.5. What's your hunch? Does he go over or under that against the Steelers, D?
Oh, man, I'm gonna take the over. I like watching him play. He's big, he's physical. He's got Pickens on the other side. I think there's going to be a competition between those guys, and I think that they both play really well tonight, and I'm going to take the over on him.
Love it. All right, Kay, let's bring up the full screen.
Oh, gosh.
First touchdown scorer for tonight's game.
I'm great at touchdown scores, by the way. It's like the only thing I'm great at. The first ones are hard, but they're really fun, and I like that you get it over with real quick. I'm not going to go with Neighbors, so he's part of my Sports Equinox parlay. I'm not going to overthink this one. I'm going to go Najee plus 440. He has scored in back-to-back games. He's playing great football. Nobody's talking about it. This is a dude who's in his contract year, people. He's going to punch one in first.
Love the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, lock in the final answer. Update to this graphic. We love it. All right, Luke, last one for you. Steelers are 5.5-point favorites right now at home. What's your hunch? Who gets the win?
5.5 at home. I'm gonna take the Steelers. I think they're gonna win by a touchdown in this game. Russell Wilson's in the game. TJ Watt's gonna have a big game. That crowd's gonna get into it, and I'm gonna take the Steelers.